There's not anybody I know who does 9 hours back-to-back.
I'm
Back-to-back dates?
I'm not going to lie. This is one day, and I love the great city of Cleveland. And listen, I had to be in Cleveland. This is when I wish that I was a man who had the necessary means to hop on a jet
Yep.
of my own,
That's right.
do this show, ends at 3, hop on a jet, head straight to the Cucina family-style restaurant and pizzeria, 674 Montauk Highway East, whatever he said, Walk. It's spelled Quogue, but that's what he said, East Walk.
It's in Montauk.
In New York.
On the island.
To hang out with the great Frank Sivero because Scaramouche, he's going to be there for 9 hours today. He's going to be there for 9 hours tomorrow. He's going to
running it back.
He's running back noon to 9, back-to-back 9-hour shifts where they've got great food. He said you can come and see me in person. You can take a picture with me or get a picture. And remember, nothing is free. Yes. Nothing's free.
Tell the people who he tagged in the post.
Yeah, he's tagged here Joe Jonas. He's tagged 50 Cent. He's tagged Sal the Voice, Rosato Bruno. He's tagged the great Sushimango, Carlos Salvateri, the bad boy Joey Janela, who's a pro wrestler. He tagged Joey Janela.
What an eclectic tagging.
Maria Ladanka.
Better start
Anthony Michael Cross. Anthony Michael Cross.
Area. I mean,
Mob
bring a tent,
Capino.
bring a little bucket to go to the restroom in. Don't lose your spot in line for tomorrow.
I have no idea. I assume that that's somewhere on the way out to the Hamptons, wherever this is.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, I'm giving you guys a little shout to let you know that April 22nd and April 23rd from noon until 9 p.m., I'll be at my brother's place, Cucina Family.
Oh, it's his brother's place. Now we got more details.
We got it. He's at his brother's place.
Hold on, let me get the. Hold on, this one's the best one. Listen.
Hello, everyone. Hey, Yazadich. What's going on? It's me, Frank Sivero. Hey, listen, giving you guys a little bit of a shout out. Of course, you know who I am from Goodfellas, Frankie Carbone. Make the coffee to go. Hey, and Jack Rapadando from The Godfather 2. Amorin. Veramente bed, the consigliere.
The best is us playing this on a phone.
Hold on. The best is, hey, it's me, Frank Sivero. Of course you know who I am, but now let me tell you.
I'm going to give you great detail on who I am.
On who I am in case you actually don't know, but of course you do. Hey, Scaramouche, in case of reach.
I just love the idea that he's knocking out 2 9-hour shifts signing autographs. That's got to be – I've never seen – now, I understand it's his brothers. It's new information. But 2 9-hour shifts back-to-back. I've never seen anything like that.
A family – is he given the family discount for those appearances?
It was a 9-hour shift as well at the Goodfellas bar.
Oh, that was
also a 9-hour. Yeah, he does a 9er. You book Frank, you get 9.
What's the energy like at 8:48?
I don't know. What I'm curious about, and I hope not, because, hey, you know, you don't want to see anybody go out there and struggle. Like, there'd be nothing worse than if he has this thing and, like, there's nobody showing.
No, there's no chance.
I find it hard to believe that, like, there are enough people for back-to-back 9-hour shifts. Like, the first 9 hours at the restaurant didn't get everybody who was interested in getting a photo, so we got to run it back, same venue. That's like trying to sell out a concert back-to-back nights. Yeah. You've got to be a big act to run it too. Like, you got to be Fish at the Garden if you want to run back-to-back nights.
Garth Brooks used to sell out, like, in a town. He would sell tickets as long as they were bought. So he would open up the tickets, and if he sold 6 days worth, he would stay in town. He would play 6 days worth of shows. My feeling is that Frank Sivero is the Garth Brooks of Italian that guy autograph signing.
Yeah, there's got to be that.
That's who he is. Like, that's the demand. In order to match, that's where he's at.
By the way, I think to spice up AB's next press conference, because look, we know he's not going to say things right before the draft. Why is he going to give away any information? Come on, Scaramouche. He's keeping it all inside.
How would you spice it up? Have him
Frank up there with him. Hey,
have him like as the guy you got to go through.
Yeah, like,
maybe the questions go from like Mary Kay to Frank.
Well, what I
Tony
would like
to
is
Frank.
Yeah,
to
because that way AB never has to give the no comment answer.
Right.
Frank would be like, hey, no comment. Okay.
He's been a consigliere. Okay. He was in Godfather 2, as we know.
No
Chico
comment.
Almanzo. We know that.
Chico Bedanza. What is he?
I think
saying?
that's a human's name.
It sounds to me like he's saying the name of the umpire in The Naked Gun. Enrico Palazzo.
Is there a chance it's just day drinking
Enrico
with
Palazzo,
the guy at the bar at this restaurant?
Oh, but a 9-hour shift, you got to pace yourself. There's only so much Chianti.
Do you think he's like singing Piano Man at some point? Is he busting that out? Hey,
I mean,
sing
that
me
would be
a
on a
song.
bucket
A lot of
list. I would do that.
Sinatra.
The
I think.
Piano Man.
I would think it's a lot of Sinatra.
Start spreading
What would
the
it take
news.
for us to get our armies together, get behind him, and bring him to the feast?
I'm behind him. What do you mean?
So am I. I mean, I'm with you.
Hey.
Like, how hard is that? Is that hard?
Gibby, I feel like you should reach out to him. Let's find out what his fee is.
And then bring him to the feast.
That's where we start with. What's your fee?
And then we go.
That's gonna
we
make
go
me,
do the show in Little Italy during.
That's
the
either
feast.
going to make me laugh or it's going to make me cry. His fee. There's going to be no. It's not going to be a reasonable fee. It's either going to be like.
Do you think it is more likely
Hard
you are
times.
surprised at the high or saddened by the low?
Yes. Sorry, that was the Pedro in me.
That was good.
I think saddened by the low. I
You
think,
feel like,
yeah.
unfortunately, saddened by the low.
How high can it be?
I don't know. I mean, he's recognizable.
Everybody knows me, but if I was like, hey, it's your good friend Nathan Zegura, everybody knows who I am. You can hear me on Cleveland Browns Daily, 1 to 3. Maybe you know me from that. Maybe you know me from my commentary at AIW tonight at the Odeon. Scaramouche. We'll see you there. Like, I mean, you're not well known if you have to then say, hey, maybe you know me from here.
Everybody knows who I am, but just in case you don't, here's who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enrico Palazzo.
The traffic to like get out to the Hamptons in the summer in New York is absurd. Like on a Friday afternoon, forget it. Like I imagine that's kind of what we're dealing with him.
I'm sure there are people
headed out to the island.
I think that a lot of New York, from my understanding, I have some good friends out there who do go to the Hamptons. From what I understand, everybody left town on Thursday to avoid
that.
The Sivero traffic.
The Sivero traffic.
Yeah. They left on Thursday.
Leave on Thursday. Hey, you hear Sivero's out there? We'll leave Thursday.
Oh.
I need him. We got to get him here. We got to get him to Cleveland. It's got to happen. I don't think that it's that big of an ask.
We got to find out if he's a football fan, Gibby. If he's a football fan.
Are you kidding me? I'm sure in one of the movies he ran a book. Clearly he's a football. I'm sure at some point. Isn't that what wasn't Jimmy and Goodfellas? Wasn't that the deal? Yeah. Or am I getting that confused with Casino?
No, Jimmy at the end was picking.
He was picking?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Casino had basically the exact same plot, except they did it in Vegas.
Except it was in Vegas.
Same movie.
Yeah.
Both based on true stories, however.
Yes.
All right, here's the deal. You brought up the AB thing. We listened to it, and we'll play it in its entirety later in the show.
We might edit it down and
maybe
play the best
stuff.
stuff.
I don't know. Play 40 minutes. Give you safe. It's a Friday. The
next level is next.
Here's something that I think that needs to be asked. So, Gibby, this happens. AB talks today, and all the general managers around the league talk today, and this is mandated by whom?
So they don't all talk today,
or
but
this
they
week.
have to talk. They have to do a press conference prior to the draft,
and it's mandated by
the league.
The league. Okay.
And I'm sure it has something to do with the Pro Football Writers of America.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And access. You have to have a certain access prior to the draft. I don't know that for sure, but I do know that each GM has to talk.
Okay. Here's how this is what I would say, that there comes a time, and I use this example to you guys off air, and I think it probably applies here.
Yes.
There was a time when alcohol consumption in this country was illegal. They called it prohibition. And they said, and then they said, you know what? This isn't really working out. We're not getting everything we want out of this. They're still doing it. You're still consuming some alcohol. It led to a crime wave, so forth and so on. You know what? Let's bring it back. The end of prohibition. Enjoy your cocktails. Act accordingly. I feel like that's where we are with the pre-general manager press conference. Like, what position is he in there? I don't blame the people asking the questions. They got questions to ask. I don't blame him for not giving them anything. He's doing something that he's spent the better part of a year building towards. And part of the
hours.
Oh, you couldn't even count them.
No.
And so he spent a better part of a year working towards this with his staff. This is his Super Bowl. And much of the success or lack thereof that he has, a lot of it is cloaked in secrecy. So the notion that he would come up there and say anything is nonsense. So and the same thing with, a lot of questions about Baker, all of that stuff. Like he's not going to comment on any of that. Because why would he? It's bad business. It's bad business. So somebody ought to say,
here's my draft board.
Right.
Everybody look away.
Somebody ought to say, Instead of this, and I know he'll talk next week too, just eliminate this one and add another one, maybe a second one in the season, a second one in camp. Just move it because you're not getting anything out of this, man.
I'd love a nice one in camp. That'd be great.
Give me a camp GM summit. To me, what are you gonna? It's not his fault. It's not theirs.
And they have to do it at the combine. So you've done it at the combine,
right?
You're not going to get anything there.
Owners meetings.
Right.
And he talked after Deshaun, or talked before Deshaun.
With?
Yeah. I'm sorry. With.
So you had him combine, you had him owners meeting, you had him Deshaun presser, and now you have him now. And all of the things that you're going to ask him about, and you heard it from the people, everything you're going to ask him about, he can't be candid about. And why would he be? You wouldn't want him to be. As a founder of the Cleveland Browns, would you want him to come out there and tell you what he's thinking? Of course not. So what are we doing? Move it. Put it in camp. No prohibition. Get rid of it.
Speaking of prohibition, Josh Prohibition is taking on my man Matt Cardona, the broski, in the main event tonight. No more prohibition.
Where's the what's the vitriol there? What, do we like each other? We don't like
Prohibition's
each other?
an old school AIW guy, was a former AIW champ back in the day, and he doesn't like the way that Broski conducts himself. He doesn't like the way that he comes in like he's a big shot and that he's got the PME, the Philly and Marino experience, kind of as coming in and interfering, and he's not defending the title with honor. And so Josh Prohibition said to the Broski after last one, he goes, you know what you remind me of? You remind me of every frat boy I went to college with, taking shortcuts. And Broski had one of the great retorts of all time, kind of off the cuff, because he didn't have a mic. This was just for – I didn't go to college. True. So a hilarious retort to that. But frankly, what he thinks the only thing he should be prohibited from is challenging him for the title.
Have you decided as the voice of this operation who's in the right? Or are you going to let this be decided in the squared circle tonight?
Listen, I've been very steadfast. I don't like that Cardona is an interloper, but he's the hottest guy in wrestling. He's got 7 titles right now around the world, including he's the NWA World's Heavyweight title, the 10 pounds of gold. You're probably familiar with that. Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, Ricky the Dragon
They
Steamboat.
all wore that thing?
All wore that belt. Yeah.
Same belt? The belt Flair wore?
Yeah. Yeah, the 10 pounds of gold. NWA.
Wow.
This is historic. So, I mean, listen, in this case – I think Prohibition's going to give it all he's got. I just don't think he's up to the level of Matt Cardona.
Few are.
Right. If there's anybody, though, Josh Bishop. Remember that name. Write that down. When you come to the show, I'm going to write down
my nephew
that you have to come to. Scaramouche. Right from the family. That's the guy. When he challenges for the title, I'm making you guys come.
There we go.
Yeah.
Bring Bootsy.
Bring him. The Bold.
I feel like
it's going to be quite an environment for the Bold.
It's a lot.
Hopefully it's at the Odeon. It's got to be at the Odeon.
Okay.
The conversation with Bootsy goes like this. Much like my father in my first Browns game. You're going to see some things. You're going to hear some things. If you come back and tell your mother any of them, you'll never be a part of this ever again.
That's right.
That's how that's going.
That's how it goes.
I'm unleashing him on the lacrosse world tomorrow, his first games.
You're giving him a weapon.
He's at Hoover, and then he's in Chagrin on Sunday. So,
what's his role on the squad? Is he just
player?
Is he the goal scorer?
Player.
Is he Oz Striker?
Yeah.
He's got a little Oz Striker vibe to him. More Stifler, probably.
Yes.
Kingsley's probably more the Oz Striker.
Is Kingsley embracing Kingsley, by the way?
Yeah, he told me that he wants a slow rollout, though, with
it.
He doesn't want it
to be
over.
Big,
yeah, he's not. I don't know if he's crazy about me calling him that in front of his friends, but he thought that I could green light it on the air, that I could call him Kingsley. Yeah.
I like it. Good. Did you tell Bootsy the most important thing that a lacrosse parent or coach can ever tell their player?
No,
Oh, man, as heard in the great film American Pie, you don't score till you score. And then you have to have a second guy go in the back, go, till you score.
What is the age that they will see American Pie? Is that 16, 17?
Far from now.
Far from now?
Yeah. It's at least 16.
Can I do a radio edit of just Oz Striker in that I could just show them to get them jacked up? Maybe that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Show them a little bit of that.
I mean, he kicks off the movie with a hell of a one line.
It certainly does. Certainly does. That's great. That one's great. It really is.
That's a golden era.
And you forget about that.
That run of comedies is the best run ever.
There's the Fast Times era, all that early 80s stuff. Caddyshack,
sure.
Fast Times, Stripes, that era.
Porky's.
Yep. And then the American Pie, Superbad, that era.
Hangover,
all that in there at the same time. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, old school. all those in there. Do they make those anymore?
Movies like that? I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
I don't think they make any of that stuff.
I don't believe those films are made anymore.
You guys saw the Netflix plunge in the subscribers?
More than 25%. They lost 200,000 subscribers.
I bet I had. I believe I had that. I think I feel like I told this to you guys. Here's the deal, man. Like, you don't have enough original series in the hopper that are coming like this. That once Ozark is done, and once that are original. So you have Ozark, and then I like Peaky Blinders, but a lot of this stuff is petered out. That Squid Game dropped. I know they have Stranger Things, but Squid Game they didn't do. They bought that.
Here's the problem.
There's not enough. They're not.
That wasn't what the model was.
The model was Breaking Bad. Now you can watch all of Breaking Bad, and you can watch.
Right. Nobody believed that this was going to work. So if you remember, they had The Office. They had Breaking Bad. They had tons of Disney.
Right.
So everybody else said, oh, this actually does work. So now we're going to have our own streaming services, and we're going to take all of our content back from you, Netflix. So there's no Disney. That's all on Disney Plus. There's no Office. That's on Peacock. There's no – all of the stuff that was their core stuff is gone, and they're left with a few originals and then some, like, quite frankly, bunk stuff. Yeah,
they don't have much great, buddy.
No. Like, you search for stuff. It used to be you searched on Netflix, and it was there.
It was there.
Not.
So,
yeah,
now.
they're in
so
trouble.
they either going to have to –
And they've raised their rates 100 times, and, yeah, it's going to be – listen, the world's changing. Always changing.
World's changing, brother.
They should take a lot of credit, though. There should be some like, hey, you guys were the ones who proved this would work. There it is.
Now that's an orange shoe.
That's a very orange shoe.
That's
unlike
the
red
sneaker.
Shoe. Yeah, this is a Tennessee. This is a burnt orange, a very bright. Look at he's got the pillowed swacket, very locked in.
Pillowed swacket. He is locked in.
Very locked in.
Not even
a glance for us.
Oh, he's never walked by here without a glance.
No, I thought he was coming back to rectify that.
That would lead me to believe that big things are happening here today.
Yeah.
I would keep it locked because we could have a major announcement by the end of this show. I think it's in play just by that from Senior Swag.
I'm not sure how many other people are in the building.
Well, I've seen 2 luminaries, including Swag.
Oh, yeah.
Swag and Dub. That means big things can happen.
Always.
Today is the deadline for restricted free agents to sign offer sheets from other clubs.
Midnight tonight.
Mm-hmm. Dearness Johnson, a player to watch for us.
Yeah, and AB said that he does expect Dearness to be a Cleveland Brown in 2022.
And there you go. You will hear that AB press conference a little bit later. We're off and running here on a Friday edition. Nice weather. Heading into a gorgeous weekend. Maybe we can finally dry out a little bit, kids. What do you think?
I hope so.
Chase
the ball in the air tomorrow.
I thought maybe you would be.
I'm not going to dry out. I've got a few parties to go to this weekend. But
look at this.
Hot tuna. What about for me?
Look at the lid. What's that lid? What's the lid?
I don't know. It's a beauty.
Did you see that lid?
I saw it.
Go get it. Give it.
I didn't get a
Get
chance
Stevie.
to see anything.
Get Stevie on it.
Send Stevie
By
out
the
there
way,
right now.
We're looking for a new Stevie.
Well, there you go.
Was that like you trying to
I feel like
were you just asking for applications?
Got posted last week.
I mean, Ned's got a family now, but we need Ned.
We need a good Stevie. Can Ned do that and balance? Can Ned balance his other obligations? Ned's got real jobs.
Yeah, he's
got
a
family
and families and stuff. That's
probably not.
Ned.
That is probably not going to work. I had what I want to do.
By the way, Gibby, my mom, the official Nana of the show, is a little conservative. She's like, does Gibbs really party as much as he alludes to?
Yes.
I said, yeah, I believe he does.
I have a 50th birthday to go to tomorrow night. Rooftop.
Oh.
5-0. I like it.
Yeah.
We missed this. I missed this. It's on me last week. We have a very avid listener of the program. Jax Lamp turned 17 on the 14th of April. Perhaps happy birthday, Jax.
Happy birthday.
Good job out of you.
Yeah.
Strong
name.
Very strong name. Maybe a Jax Lamp would be maybe he could be the
Jax
Stevie.
Lamp.
Feels like a Stevie.
He feels very upper crust.
Too cool?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think
he's
it's
at the Polo Club on Saturday.
No way. When you think Jax, I think it's Sons of Anarchy.
No, Jax is a pretty.
Jax Teller.
He's a well-to-do. Maybe he's got a South African accent.
Oh,
little
you guys didn't watch
yachting,
SOA though.
No.
If you watch Sons of Anarchy, you wouldn't think that.
My initial Jaxes were all that though. Every Jax that I knew, like even growing up.
They were Polo Club?
Yeah, for sure.
His sister will let me know if he's more Polo Club or Jax Teller from Sons of Anarchy.
Let me ask
Sam Crow.
Let me ask you this: in Montana, it was a big thing to say if you were like just hanging out that you were lamping. Did that make its way to California?
I didn't get a lamping.
No, you never were lamping.
No, I did drop a bot on the oldest on Black Cobra last night.
How much fun are you having with this?
So much fun.
Has he questioned where you're getting this from yet?
No.
He just thinks you're just
He's
having
not happy about it, any of it. Like, when I walk downstairs now, he covers the mic so that his friends won't hear
when you start dropping
my nonsense.
Yeah.
And as soon as I sit down, he's like, is everything okay? Like, kind
I
of
just want to watch.
That's what I do.
You know who loves watching Fortnite more than anybody on the planet? I think really maybe even should, but Nana.
Loves it.
She thinks every time it's like a movie. We don't know the outcome. It's like a movie. When we get a Vic,
I may have
hands up in the air.
I may need to have Bryce come in and give a tutorial to.
Oh my God, yeah, maybe
my oldest,
for transformative turkey.
Transformative. So Bryce can be like, look, here's what you got to do here, pal.
Because
I feel like his strategy's real scattered right now. I don't know that he knows what he's doing.
I'm a good strategist and a good shooter. But I can't get into the building. That's where Bryce excels. But I think Nana should come as well, just because she'll sit there and the joy that she'll have for them having success it's really hard to. It's pure.
I like it.
It's pure.
I do like it. All right, lots of fun on the program days. You could probably sort out. We're working on Frank Sivero. Hopefully, have him on in the second hour of the program.
Sure.
I feel like you could get in touch with him. How hard is it? I feel like you could get him. Send him a direct. I bet the DMs are open.
I was thinking big picture, when I could get him and I would book him and what it would make sense for.
We need him here for the feast. That's when we need to go to Little Italy.
No.
Why?
No. We should set up a 10x10 pop-up tent with a table and chair, and he signs autographs at training camp.
With 2 giant stand-up images of him in those 2 films so that people know who's signing.
Yeah, perfect.
Carlos, I got someone. I got celebs for you. I got it. It's all under control.
It's beautiful.
What if he did have him do the Here We Go brownies?
Yeah.
I'm going to need a private jet. I'm going to need wheels up to get him here. But.
Why can't he be the
Here
official?
We Go brownies. Here we go. Scaramouche.
I love it. I absolutely love it. We're off and running on a Friday edition. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. You're thinking about upgrading your enterprise operating systems, but you can't afford the downtime and disruption that goes with a major overhaul. If this is you, you need to pay attention because my friends at EOX Vantage, they're data scientists who also are business operations experts. Your EOX Vantage team does not take a rip-and-replace approach to improving your operating systems. Instead, they help you build onto what you already have so you make the best use of your investments, both old and new. Fearing your employees will stress out over new systems, EOX Vantage works to ensure your people can easily adopt their new workflows at a comfortable pace. You can start out by making easily manageable changes and then add on more when the time is right. Read how other business owners have overhauled their systems without overwhelming their people at EOX Vantage.
There he is. Okay.
That's what I wanted to
twirl.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. He's in a gritty. Stop it. Senior Swag with the gritty, making Rock stunned.
Rock stunned.
Stunned. Jaw
Rock
on the floor. Stunned.
Where's her gritty?
I mean, where's
your gritty?
Where's yours?
Rock dance like Kingsley.
Scaramouche.
That's a Kingsley
That
dance
was.
right there. Yeah, that's it.
By the way, before we get into all this business, because you have so much to get to.
Look at all this.
Segment. Yeah, there's a lot to get to. This is the biggest segment you've ever given us, Gibbe.
So much.
It's so much. I love it. So Doc Tony says, if I say Scaramouche one more time, I'm going to have to kick my own butt. And he sent that to all of us. And I said, oh, baby, it just rolls off the tongue. Then Michael Karras responds, and I hope I said his name right. He said, going to need you to confirm the spelling and pronunciation on today's show so I don't make a fool out of myself in front of my Italian wife's family. I said, it's a made-up word, tread lightly. That was my response to him. He said, I approached my in-laws just like my golf game. I can't make it, but damn it, I can be close. Aim small, miss small, which is great. I said, it's brilliant, so true. So many humans don't get this. Then he responds, consider this my application for new Stevie. This whole
I like it.
I like it.
This is
write that down, Gibbe.
Yeah, we need that. This is
Michael Karras.
You have to go online and apply.
Why are you?
We are men
I hate
who,
so much about the things you choose to be. You are a thief of joy.
I am
He's
not.
Toby Flenderson.
But I can't have people tweeting at me going, I want a job.
What do you mean? That's go get her some. What do you mean?
Want that aggressiveness?
Within 5 seconds, he said, I'm in.
Yeah, we are the anti of red tape.
Yes.
We have no interest in it. Go right to the source.
No bureaucracy here.
That's
we have
fine.
no interest
You
in
guys leave at 3:05.
Oh, my gosh. This is amazing.
Ew.
I leave long before 3:05.
Yeah,
this is from Spaz. Spaz apparently has, God bless you, the Spaz has tweeted this to us. Apparently there's a hype video of Frankie Sivero's homecoming.
Oh.
There's a hype video of it. We'll have to wait to the break to listen to this. But this is, I just say thank you.
Focus.
You got, by the way, earlier you got BelieveLand46 tweets at PChops us, sort of hinting some major news could drop today. Said luminaries in the house. # scores. No scores, I promise. I promise. No scores.
There was, here's what, this was us doing our due diligence. And what we said was because Senior Swag was very focused on a phone. Listen, you could count on one digit on your hand the amount of times Swag has walked by and not given some acknowledgement.
That's right. Usually and there it is, the one. It just happened. But then he happened. And I think he felt, I've done you a disservice and gave us a performative walk by.
It really was a performance.
A spin.
Yeah.
A gritty. Jaws were left agape.
It was. All right. The NFL schedule released on Thursday, May 12th at 8 o'clock.
Oh, goodness.
Amazon's first games are going to be announced on the 28th, so they're taking over Thursday night.
Let's get to September. Let's play some games.
Yeah. Do you enjoy this?
What?
This schedule game stuff. Like, we already know the opponents. I guess it's fun to say.
I like to know the order.
Absolutely. This stretch is hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like to know when our bye is.
Yeah.
I like to know this, last year. Will we be the one team in the league, one of the two teams in the league playing on Christmas out of town? Oh, turns out we will be.
Is Christmas in play again this year?
Oh, that's a bullet point 12
reading,
in this
There's more
dissertation here. Yeah. You want to skip right to it? You want to get right to that? Start with that?
Oh, a triple header is coming on Christmas.
Christmas falls on a Sunday this year, Bo.
They can't do it to you guys again, can they?
No way.
But we'll end up playing Christmas Eve if we don't play Christmas Day.
Yeah, but hopefully,
as long as it's home,
that'd be great.
You were on the road.
I feel like they owe us that.
They owe you that. I agree.
I feel like they owe us. I think that schedule makers are decent folk.
Maybe we move to Thursday night, Thanksgiving.
Why are you doing this?
He secretly likes it. Gibby secretly wants to be John Candy from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Those aren't pillows.
See? I knew it. I knew that's what he wanted. He wants to be homeless on the holidays. He wants to be.
I do not.
Yes, you do.
That is how I end up at your house for holidays going forward.
You want to be in some random city drinking your PBRs.
Yeah.
Organizing, banquet rooms for festivities. This is your sweet spot. You're hoping for this. So all right, you got a triple header there. You saw Jamar Chase. It sounds like the Bengals are playing the Saints in London. Did you see that from Jamar Chase yesterday?
Not.
So he said sounds like he was upset about it because he wanted to go home to New Orleans and play. And instead he tweeted something effective. Sounds like New Orleans or London. Sounds like it'll be London for us.
Well, maybe it turns out to be right. Maybe he'll be punished for this. Last time a prominent early pick in the 2021 NFL draft tweeted something major that they were saying was going to happen, Kyle Pitts. Turns out didn't happen. So
not so great.
We'll see how that goes for Jamar Chase.
We are going to Germany?
Yes, we are. Tampa
We're
Bay
not,
is.
but Tampa Bay
Tom
is.
Brady is.
Do we play any of these teams that are going abroad?
No,
no chance.
We would be the road team, and I don't believe
we do play.
Do we go to Jacksonville?
We do play the NFC South this year, don't we?
Yeah, but Tampa comes here. We would be the home team.
Brady here.
The 5 teams that have been announced are home teams.
Yeah. We don't go to New Orleans. They come here.
Correct. Yeah, because we go to Carolina and Atlanta.
Yeah.
Okay. So none of that. Tom Brady here.
Yeah,
That's
so
pretty cool.
Just to remind everybody, our home schedule, we've got Ravens, Bengals, Chargers, Patriots, Saints, Jets, Steelers, Buccaneers away. Falcons, Ravens, Bills, Panthers, Bengals, Texans, Dolphins, Steelers.
Some of the
Commanders.
worst stadiums in the league. Ugh. Logistic nightmare.
Where are they playing in Germany? Are they Munich? Munich.
Pretty sure Brown's Therapy, by the way, has found a picture of Nana.
What?
And has her doing a Fortnite celebration. Now, he may not have posted that fully, but he did send that to me in a DM.
Well, I just see him putting you as a Fortnite character. So
he said
that's
it's something
exciting.
to show my mom. Yes. Okay. He hasn't put that out there. That's good. Let's let Nana live in her. The world's not ready for that.
We're not ready for that yet, kids. No.
Uh-uh.
All right, so there you go. What's the how do we open on Thursday night?
What's the opening game of the season?
Yeah, do we is that known? Rams and who they playing?
So that will be announced. The problem is this:
All right, I'll
they
tell
have
you who
this
they're
schedule
Rams,
release
Cowboys.
date,
That's who they're going to play.
and they're going
They
to
did that last year though. Rams Cowboys was on Sunday Night Football opener.
Rams, Broncos, Russell Wilson.
Oh, Russ.
Or Rams, Bills. I mean, that's a Super Bowl type game.
because the first Amazon Prime game is until week 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this the Thursday Night Football game. So that'll be Tirico and
Collinsworth. And Melissa Stark.
Bills or Broncos. Who do you got? Who's the money on?
I'm going to take Broncos.
That's would be 2 headliners. I'll go Bills, and I will say I'll have to think about the Broncos will open either Sunday Night Football or they will have America's the 4:00 CBS game.
Okay.
As an attempt to balance.
Spread it out
a little bit. Yeah.
We got a lot of draws this year, man.
You got a ton of draws.
The AFC is just chock full of draws.
Yeah, loaded.
The Bucks are going to be a draw. Don't you think the Bucks are going to get a big opening?
They'll get a big opener too, yeah. Yep.
The league's as loaded as it's ever been.
Well, it's as top loaded as it's ever been.
But there's I think half of the league is the top.
I think there's 11 teams that think they could win the Super Bowl. There's 8 in the AFC.
It's a third of the league.
All right, so you've got Buffalo, New England, Miami. I think Miami
doesn't think they can win the Super Bowl.
You don't think?
They know better. They're building for who's got next.
All right.
But I'm fine with the other 2. I don't know if New England does either. But definitely.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Go New England. I'll take away Miami. You can keep New England.
Okay. All right. The entirety of the AFC West.
Every single one of them.
Yep. So that's 6 now.
Yep.
At least Are you convinced that the Steelers don't think they can win the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Okay.
They know
then
better.
3 of us.
The 3 of us.
So now we're at 9 here, and then don't the Titans think they can win the Super Bowl?
See, yeah, that's why I would not have had the Patriots in.
Okay.
But I would have had I think the Colts think they can though.
Okay. So that's 11 there.
Yeah.
Then you go to the NFC.
Bucks,
Tampa
Packers,
Bay, LA Rams,
Cards, and Rams. Cowboys.
That's half the league.
Half the league thinks they can win this.
And the Niners have to think they just won
the
NFC
Niners.
Championship game.
Yeah, Niners. Half the league thinks they can win it.
Can win it. When's it ever been like that?
Probably 22 think they're playoff teams.
Yeah, when's that ever been?
Well, no, it hasn't. But I think there's a lot of things that lead to that, and it starts with the fact that there are so many great quarterbacks in this league. And I've never had this type of depth at the position.
I honestly think the bottom in terms of just trash teams is pretty low.
I mean, Atlanta is pure trash.
Okay.
Houston is trash.
Yep.
And then it starts to go away. Then the rest of them, you could say they could get frisky. I think the rest of the NFC East, the Commanders and the Giants, they're not trash, but they're a long ways off. The Seahawks might be trash.
Seahawks could be.
Depending, I mean, that might be their design. Carolina, I think, is trash.
Well, if they get Garoppolo, though, they do have weapons.
Yeah.
Or even if they got Baker.
Right.
I mean, I would think that they would not be trash.
Bears are trash.
Feels like it.
Yeah, I feel bad for Fields. Terrible for him.
He should get Frank Sivero to represent him. Get him out of there.
It's the least they could do is get him Sivero. He's my guy. We get all these things sorted out.
Do you think we can have?
Yes.
I was gonna have him at training camp, like Sivero Day at training camp.
I think there's no question that we can organize something to get him here. It's just a matter of when do we want to get him here, and how can we take the most advantage of it.
Are you guys all for this? Like, tweet us something. Are you guys all for this? Are you guys enjoying this? Follow him on Instagram, and I challenge you in a week to not be into it, even if you are.
You're into it. You're into it. Of course you are. Of course.
Just watch the one that he did where he's wearing the yellow sweater.
Yep, that's really everything you want.
It's everything. And watch the one where he's eating the steak and drinking the wine.
Those are his 2 gold jacket performances.
Yep.
Those 2
his opus?
Those 2. Yeah. OBM, Ohio Business Machine, preferred copier provider. Your Cleveland Browns. They have all the X's and O's for your office. Call 216-485-2000. Visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. If you go to one of these as a fan, would you go to Mexico City, Germany, or London to watch a game?
Germany. I need to time it up with Oktoberfest.
The Germans.
Have
you been to Germany? You've been to London.
City.
You guys have both been to London.
I've been to Germany and just in the Munich airport on the way to Croatia.
Okay.
But never out and about in the town.
Out in Flourish.
I've heard nothing but horror stories from teams that have gone to Mexico City. Like, you can't leave the hotel. The smog problem is very real. Like, breathing there is a challenge.
Well, your elevation.
Yeah.
Throw that in. You're at elevation. You're 5,000 feet, man.
It's not great.
Yeah. Okay.
The facilities.
We've been to London. Yeah, I'd want to go. I think Germany would be. I think that'd be a lovely trip.
How much further is that on a plane than London, Munich? Is it 2 more hours, 3 more? I have no idea.
No,
I just
think
need the bye week after.
It's 8 from London?
No. 8 from.
8 from here.
Chicago, because that's what we did. I think it was. 8.
Okay. So that's not. It's a couple hours past London.
Maybe, yeah.
You're safe.
I think from Chicago is in London like 7, 6.5.
I've never been. I would imagine 6. Or 7.
It is
probably.
from here, but from Chicago, you'd be adding a little bit more on that. Probably
an hour.
Yeah.
All right. According to the ESPN NFL Nation crew, which team has done the best in the draft since 2012? We will get to that coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. I got to tell you, kids, the Bath Authority can give you the bathroom of your dreams. They will transform your current bathroom into a spa-like experience. Let them do it for you, and they can make it a reality for you at a fraction of the cost of the competitors. The Bath Authority is our area's premier bath and shower remodeler. Expert factory-trained installers available and ready. It's where affordability meets quality. They have the largest selection of bath projects. They're all made in the United States. They will allow you to change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding. Acrylic tubs that insulate and keep the heat in, tub-to-shower conversions. Superior products with expert installers. Give them a call now at 216-220-8399 for $500 off. Tell them Beau sent you, or go to thebathauthority.com for more information. That's 216-220-8399. So this is ESPN Nation. Oh, go ahead. Do we have something? Frank Sivero update?
This is a tweet from Richie Fox.
Oh, Ned.
Did someone say they need a new Stevie? Eye emojis.
He's got a family. Like, Ned, you got to understand that it's not going to be compensation.
Man's got to know his limitations.
Well, he knows it. I just think, like, he's got to understand we're paying you in joy.
There's a commitment here, buddy.
The joy. There's a currency in working with CBD.
That's right. Will you acknowledge, Ned, that there's a currency?
There's a currency. Yeah, acknowledge that, please. It's the least you could do.
Will you at least acknowledge that for us?
Spazilla says, if you do not get Frankie, I will hire an animal trainer to have a group of winged fowl drop hard-boiled eggs dipped in non-alcoholic beer on you when you leave the studio. This is a diabolical mind. This is someone that needs to be investigated.
That's a lot of boy.
The Spaz.
I mean,
that's too much.
You need like Marion Cabretti to hunt that guy down just for that tweet.
It's now uncomfortable.
That was, I don't know how I came across it. You guys remember that movie, Cobra?
Oh, yeah. Stallone? Yeah.
You aware the premise of that? Have you thought about that? I watched it a lot as a kid.
No.
They're the New World Order, but they at no point identify what they're mad about. They're really mad. They're really mad, but we don't know what the motive is. Just chaos, I guess.
It's never told to us.
But there's only one man who can solve it. And it's where the law stops and he starts.
That's right.
It's the only thing I know. All right.
He had some nice shades in that movie, if I'm not mistaken.
The whole thing is crazy.
Was he in like a
Brigitte Nielsen's in it?
Of course. Well, Brigitte
runs it right back. That was his girlfriend, so she ran it right back. It has an absurd wig in it.
Didn't they? Yeah. Rocky IV.
Coming off of Rocky IV.
Yeah, right.
He ran it right back, and I think he was hoping he would be able to have Rambo, Rocky, and Cobra series. Not. Didn't work out that way. All right. This is which NFL teams did the best of the draft in terms of the best draft value since 2012. Next week, of course, is the draft. They have the Seattle Seahawks #1. Yeah, they've been in the mix a lot. I don't understand what Cavo is.
It is
career approximate value over expected.
Yeah.
This stuff makes me go cross-eyed.
Tequila.
Chiefs are second. I have some. Ravens third. We're 31 on this list. Does that seem appropriate to you, Dr. Z?
Just because there were a lot of first-round misses. I mean, you look at who were the misses in terms of that had the least. Cavo. 2012 was your first-round pick, Trent Richardson. 2013 was your first-round pick, Barkevious Mingo. 2014, it was probably both of your first-round picks, but Justin Gilbert took the cake here, as well as Manziel, both out of the league before they finished their first contract. 2015, it was a second-round pick, Nate Orchard. 2016, first-round pick again, Corey Coleman. You just can't miss on those picks.
No.
2017, Miles, you hit there. 2018, you hit Denzel, you hit Nick Chubb. So those are early picks there, and Baker was more than solid.
Yeah.
So that's where things started to turn around because you started to hit in the first round. 2021, I think you absolutely hit on Greg Newsome, and you hit on your second-round pick, JOK, even though they're not listed here as yet having the top Cavo.
The one that it's the 14 draft. And we get Batonio in that, who's great, but it's the Gilbert Johnny first round.
Yeah.
That's the one
just rushes it, crushes you.
Yeah,
crushes.
That sets you back a little bit.
Yeah.
The Jets, the only one who are worse, but there's a long. You think about how competent we have been since 2017 from an organizational standpoint in terms of the draft. And that's how you are where you are. That's how quickly it can change when you have smart people and good. It's been a couple different regimes. But it can flip pretty quickly if you do it right. This league is set up for that, for a rebound.
Yeah, and the Browns acquired the capital. Then you still have to execute upon that capital. And when you do, then you have an opportunity to do something very, very special. And so for, the Browns, now you sit here in a spot where you've got pillars at quarterback, you've got a pillar at running back on offense, you've got a receiver in Amari Cooper who feels definitely like a pillar, you have pillars on your offensive line, and then defensively you have the best defensive end in the league. You've got one of the best young corners in the league locked up, not to mention one of the best young corners in the league on a rookie deal. You got John Johnson, you got J.O.K. I mean, you've got a lot of young pillars locked up to be a part of this franchise for a long time, which allows you to continue to make some moves. And I thought that, you look at AB today, and there wasn't, again, we'll play this coming up at the top of the hour. There wasn't a ton in there. There shouldn't be. But he does say, and I thought this was interesting, that, on Deshaun Watson eating up trade draft capital, he says players at other premium spots, you'll see us get creative in trying to acquire some. They know what their premium spots are. They've done a good job of acquiring people at those spots. And now, as he said, it's going to be a luxury to be able to operate as a franchise for the next decade where the quarterback position is not at the top of mind, which is something that has not been the case.
I'm sorry, I just laugh because
ever.
I think it's just comedy when people say, oh, my gosh, the first-round picks. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Do you have any teams in the league would have given up 3 1s? Then that's the most you can give up. That's the most you can give up. So, you how many would you get to get a player like that? Franchise quarterback? Don't worry about it?
Don't
a decade?
Yeah.
Please. Come on.
Scaramouche.
Hey.
Do it when you
can. We're going to get it happening. It's going to happen. He's going to be here. Hey, my friends at Char Whiskey Bar and Grill in Rocket River, they got it all sorted out. Sip on your choice of over 300 premium whiskeys, craft cocktails while catching a game at the Char Bar. Char is also coming out with this new spring menu. It's coming May 2nd. New items on both the main and brunch menus, oyster shrimp cocktail, and more as they introduce their new raw bar specials. Fantastic liquor list here. Great bourbon list. Great tequila list. They know what they're doing. Check out their new chicken and waffles on the current brunch menu as well. Those are to die for. Enjoy your meal or drink on the outdoor patio as the weather gets warmer. Support local. Visit Char Whiskey Bar and Grill in Rocky River or at charrockyriver.com. You'll hear Andrew Berry's press conference coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. If you're thinking about upgrading your enterprise operating system but can't afford the downtime and disruption that goes with a major overhaul, then pay attention because I got the company for you. They're my friends, EOX Vantage. These guys are data scientists and business operations experts at the same time. Your EOX Vantage team does not take a rip-and-replace approach to improving your operating systems. Instead, they help you build onto what you already have so you make the best use of your investments, both old and new. If you're fearing your employees will stress out over new systems, EOX Vantage works to ensure your people can easily adapt their new workflows at a comfortable pace. You can start out by easily making management choices and add on more when the time is right. Read how other business owners have overhauled their systems without overwhelming their people at eoxvantage.com. Dr. Z?
All right, before we get into Andrew Berry, this got me thinking. All this Frank Sivero, I'm very excited about it. Mount Rushmore of non-Browns or football guests that we've had in studio on this program.
That we've had?
Yeah. Where would... So I have 3 that are like locks, counting Frank, because he'd be on that Mount Rushmore, I believe.
All right. Well, Al Michaels,
Ooh.
Snoop,
Okay.
Stone Cold.
Okay.
And then JR.
I had Mr. Dog, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Frankie Sivero. And then the others, the options, you said Al Michaels, good old JR, Jerry the King Lawler, The Miz.
The King.
Miz has been in studio.
He's more of a friend of the program, though. Like, Miz has been in with us a lot.
So many
We've
times.
had him on
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
So I don't.
Good chance we'll have him on next week.
That's right.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. There you go. The other one who was here, but I think I don't remember if this was right before you or not, was Playmaker was in studio, and he was electric.
Might have been right before.
I was going to say.
Might have been right before. And then Dez came in with you, but he wouldn't be on this
Suns out,
list.
guns out. No.
I mean, Snoop, Stone Cold, Al Michaels, and Frank Sivero.
It's pretty stout. And it's incredible. What a 4-year run. And that's with 2 years being wiped out due to COVID.
Wiped out due to COVID, yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, that would, I mean, here's the crazy thing about Sivero. I feel like he'd feel like he's an equal.
There's no doubt.
Of all,
he would be sad
Al
that he
Michaels?
wasn't George Washington.
Yeah. He's FDR.
Yeah. And he's like, no.
He's Teddy. I mean, he's Teddy
Yeah.
Roosevelt.
He's like, no, I'm, no.
I can't wait. It's going to happen. I mean, I just know it's going to happen.
You've DM'd him, right? You've established contact.
I have. I've established contact.
What did you say? What did you
Said
say?
big fan.
Big fan.
Host a couple of radio shows. I'd love to have you on.
In person.
Love to have you on.
Did you note in person?
I can adjust that once he
telling you,
connects.
Carlos.
I think he's busy right now.
Training camp autograph signing.
All right, so I think there's 3 parts of this, right? We get so the show, because remember, this guy works in blocks of 9 hours apparently.
Can we bring back Browns Live?
Show.
Could be a whole episode of Building the Browns.
Building the Browns on Sivero.
Yeah.
And then I think he spent some time. We should, if one of the local Italian eateries wants to partner in, kick in on this.
Well,
yeah.
Training camp is during the feast. We could go CBD training camp feast in one day.
A 9 hour.
I believe you had that.
Building the Browns.
I believe you had
I did.
I believe you had that.
We'd want to have probably some sort of a chopper to take us from there to here.
Yeah.
I would need a full police escort.
The
Presidential. I want to block off highways.
Hey, if we get Sivero, we got to bring in Meals by Cougine. We got to bring him in too.
Can't put him on the air.
12 out of 5 marons.
The vulgarity just flies
No,
out.
but we would tell.
It's a loose cannon. That might need to be a pre-tape.
Yeah.
You'd have no issues with that with Sivero, the utmost professionalism.
Hey.
Speaking of utmost professionalism, here's Andrew Berry at his pre-draft press conference. Let's have a listen.
In terms of priorities,
you're down.
There's a lot that you would like to add, I'm sure. Is there anything at the very top of the list for you?
Yeah, I would say in general you're right, Tom. It's almost like going to a restaurant hungry. Like you get familiar with a number of these players, and whether you have 2 picks or 20 picks, you probably feel like you never have enough. Our approach is more about really just adding as many young talented guys to the roster that we can. We certainly do have call it certain positional leanings. I won't necessarily disclose those specifics in this setting, but we are a little bit more long-term focused as opposed to short-term focus when we make selections when we're on the clock.
Sean's arrival affect your plans?
It really doesn't. Obviously we feel good about the quarterback position, but, we'll really go into the weekend being flexible because you just never know how the board's going to fall. You can project and predict it as much as possible. Honestly, the past 2 years, the amount of draft capital that we've gone into the weekend with and come out of the weekend with has changed. So a lot can happen over the course of those 3 days.
Why did you go for Seth quickly, and what was it about him that attracted you?
Terry, I think at least since we've been here for 3 off seasons, we've mentioned we think quarterback's the most important position, and that really kind of extends to the entire room. Backup quarterback for us, will always be a priority, just because the way that performance at that position goes oftentimes defines your season, and just like you want to be insulated, whether it's through for injury or lack of availability at other positions, it really is the same thing at quarterback. Jacoby is an individual who has who's very talented. He's seasoned. He's played in a number of different offenses, and he's been called into action in several situations, in several unique situations, and has performed well. So he was a guy that we were excited about going into the spring, and we were fortunate enough to be able to acquire him.
You've invested a lot in the wide receiver position since taking over. You've drafted Donovan, and you bring in Amari. The 2 straight years you've drafted one. Could you just kind of maybe evaluate how you feel about that particular position group?
I would tell you, Daryl, probably across the roster, I don't think there's really any position that I just feel like we can stand pat or say, hey, we're done. And I know that may seem like a little bit more of a general answer, but quite honestly, I think that's probably how the majority of general managers, think across the NFL. You're always looking to see if you can add talent or upgrade and add players that can impact your team, and to that position specifically, impact your passing game. So we like the players that we have in the room, but we do believe in adding talent and competition where we can.
Andrew, you've mentioned in the past that you approach the draft like an expansion team. Is that harder when you do have positions like even the defensive backfield where you have a lot of really good players there?
Not so much. I mean, I'm not going to sit up here and tell you that it doesn't, there's zero factor in terms of your current roster. I think that would be disingenuous. But at the same time, because we're a little bit more long-term planning focused once we get to the draft, we're probably a bit more flexible than maybe people perceive, as we work through the board.
A lot of extensions, obviously Denzel this week. How much does that help to know that you've got that long-term planning with even players currently on the roster?
It certainly is helpful when you have guys that are under contract for several years, where you're hopeful, right, there are no guarantees at the end of the day, but you're hopeful that it's a position that is not top of mind for several years, and we're certainly excited about reaching an agreement with Denzel. So it does help with the long-term planning, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it would exclude us from taking a player at the position.
We've seen you, last year you moved up to get JOK. Your first time here, you guys moved up to get David. Can you kind of explain that process? I mean, you're sitting there at 44. Maybe there would be an opportunity. Can you explain that process, that decision making to maybe move up and get aggressive?
Okay, sure. Yep. So honestly, it just really depends on how the board falls. Whether it's, hey, is there a player available who fits a specific profile in terms of their talent, in terms of what the projected impact may be if they were added to the roster over the life of their rookie deal. And then, ultimately, positional scarcity and cost, right? Cost of the actual transaction to really move up or move down the board. So all those really come into play. I wish I could give you a kind of a standardized way of thinking through it, Dan. But the reality is each situation is a little bit more unique. Candidly, we spend, yesterday was our last formal strategy session. We really spend the bulk of this week talking through those type of different scenarios, because at this point all the evaluation work is completed. So it's really talking through some of the different trade-offs, selections you can make at the different spots, or some of the different ways you might pivot if the board falls a certain way. So we try and get as much of that done ahead of time. I would tell you there are still things that you don't predict. JOK last year would be one of them, but you try and have a framework in place where you can work through a situation that you may not have specifically prepared for in the week prior.
Is this as deep a wide receivers class as you've seen?
Honestly, I'd say this. I think over the last couple years, you've seen a lot of young pass catchers come into the league and be successful. And I do think that's a big part of that is just kind of the evolution of, not just college football, but youth sports. I was talking to my wife last week, and because our boys, they're in like a multi-sport clinic, and one of the things is flag football. And I was telling her, like, when I came up, that was never an option to have like a formal flag football league. It was like, hey, you're either in Pop Warner if you're going to get in at the age of 4 or 5, and it's just so different now. And I think that effect has really trickled into our game, right? Like that goes to the high schools where, when I was in high school, like, we were one of the highest passing teams and we threw the ball maybe like, 15 to 18 times a game. And now it's like, so yeah, exactly. And so I think that's kind of cool. And so now you have guys who've come into the league that, probably have, had more proficiency throwing and catching the ball than, maybe at any point recently within the sport.
Have you been part of a draft without a first-round pick?
Good question. Yes. Indianapolis, it was actually after the Trent Richardson trade. Yeah.
How different is it? I know you do preparation on all the guys anyway, but how different does it feel? How different do you think it'll be, Thursday night not having that pick?
Honestly, I wouldn't say that it feels much different because there's still a lot of decisions that you have to make over the course of the weekend. So maybe, Thursday night in terms of the schedule will potentially handle a little bit differently, but in terms of the intensity and focus for the weekend, that really hasn't changed.
Amari Cooper's been good for a long time. What does he do best, and how has his game kind of evolved as he's gotten?
Yeah, I think Amari is one of the best route runners in the NFL. And it's not just like a particular route that he can separate on, but just really the diversity of ways that he can get open. He's just got a really good feel for, separating, whether it's, laterally, at the top of routes or even vertically. And so I think that's something that really stands out about his game. And then, his fantastic hands as well. Catches the ball really well, and it's been productive for a long time in the NFL.
Is there a mold when you build the receiver room, like body types and things like that?
No, not necessarily. Like, I mean, really, you look for impact with skill sets. I think, you can probably look across the league. The way that receiver rooms are constructed, or really good receiver rooms are constructed, they can take a lot of different shapes and forms.
Andrew, in general, just how do you view the risk-reward of drafting a player who's injured and may not be able to play for you right away, but maybe you'd be able to get them at a spot you wouldn't be able to otherwise?
Yeah, it's definitely something that we run through. It really is, Nate, unique to the player, and that's both, the talent level, the position, and then really with your medical staff, like, okay, what is the injury? What is the prognosis for not just recovery where they're medically cleared, but also the potential short or long-term impact on performance, as well. So all of those really come into play. And I think also, quite honestly, the reality of it is, Nate, is that depending on the injury, if you're giving up a year of the player's rookie contract, like, that also has to factor in as well. So each situation really is unique in that regard.
I think there are 7 teams, including you guys, that are not going to be picking in the first round. Everyone jokes about what the Rams did in Los Angeles with all the first-round picks that they moved, and they got a Super Bowl out of it. Have you noticed a dramatic shift league-wide in how teams, because first-round picks used to be viewed like a stack of gold here, and teams now are more willing to trade those. Have you seen maybe the Rams setting this trend around the league that, hey, you know what, picks are picks, and established players are a little more valuable when you're in that Super Bowl contention mindset?
I don't know how much of the trend, and obviously Les has done a phenomenal job building that team. I don't know how much of the trend is, a function of what the Rams have done recently. I think probably have to ask each individual team what led to the choice that they made. I think probably to the second part of your question, I do think that you're seeing a shift, in the NFL. That may be a little bit more similar to what we've seen in hoops and in baseball, because you're right. Like when I first started in the NFL, and even like just a handful of years ago, I mean, it was hard. Like the trade market was a lot more illiquid than it is currently. So I think that observation is right. Time will tell if it continues, but it certainly allows for more opportunities for team building, regardless of where your roster is in its life cycle.
Do you think, Andrew, the teams are more willing to give up the first round picks, where in the past it used to be, you even mentioned yourself, the rookie contract and that kind of stuff?
It's a great question, Terry. I think probably a little bit of an influx of more aggressive general managers as a new wave comes in. Probably different priorities in terms of positional value. Certainly probably until recently a rapidly increasing cap, so probably more activity both on the trade market and free agency. And then also probably part of it is just there's more turnover around organizations in the NFL than maybe there have been a decade ago. So that would really be my best guess, but I don't know.
5 years ago that there was.
I'm sorry?
Could you have pictured that even 3 or 5 years ago that there'd be more of it's sort of a thing on Daryl's thing, but to me, just saying, 17's not having a pick of 8. 8?
Yeah. So I would, 5 years ago, I probably wouldn't have anticipated. 3 years ago, I probably would have been more open to the idea that the league could kind of shift in this direction.
Were you really doing salary cap stuff in the 5th grade?
I heard about this. This is what I get
back in 30.
Visiting, having my wife visit her in-laws on Easter weekend. There is some truth to that. I don't know what she put out there, but there is some truth to that. We got a Christmas gift one year, me and my brother. It was like the foosball tables, but this was like it's like a hockey table, and we developed our own league, that type of thing, and built out schedules and rosters and everything like that. It's totally nerdy and silly. So thank you, Britton, for outing me on that.
You're up.
AB, when he was 10, was keeping track of
salary
caps
sure.
and such, and then ended up doing that. And I was thinking, if what I was doing when I was 10 became my profession, I would be leading an elite military unit and work for G.I. Joe.
Not bad.
That's what I would be. Yeah. What would you do when you were 10? What were you doing?
10. Trying to think. I would either be Michael Phelps. Doing a lot of swimming back then.
You were not Michael, but who are you? He's too young.
Yeah, but I'm saying I would hope to be that good.
Who was the swimmer of record when you were 10? That's what you did, for fun?
I did a lot of competitive, but I'd say I would be a
well, what were you doing for fun?
But you're saying G.I. Joe.
He was saying that's what he did for fun.
Yeah. For fun, we played a lot of Stratomatic baseball and football, so I could have been a GM.
Should have been a Billy Bean.
Or a Billy Bean, yeah. And then we did we'd have these huge wars that would be set up, so I could have been a knight of the round table.
Like in the house?
Yeah, in our living room, we'd set up two sides.
Would
and
you
had
have little characters?
Oh, yeah. We're talking like hundreds of figurines, and we had these cool.
What were they made out of?
Do you remember those ones that had like the green metal base, and then they would be like knights on? You had guys who were on horses. You had knights who weren't on horses. They were.
Do I remember? I mean, I dared to dream of having something like that. Where would you? I've never even seen them at Purchase.
Oh yeah, we get them from like model shops. I had a full-on castle that we would build. So one side would be like the orcs and the demons and the the hordes,
of course,
and then the castle would have obviously the knights and all of that. And so we'd have these. There was this Vikings game. There was an old Viking game that was Vikings and looked like kind of Spartans, I would say.
Okay.
And so the Vikings were in brown. The Spartans were kind of in a cream. And it came with these discs. So they were blue and red. And one side would have the Viking and one would have the Spartan on it. And There was a crossbow that you could put the disc in that was on the ground. It would shoot it straight across the ground so it'd skim, and then whoever got knocked down, like, they're dead, they're out. And so after we'd have rounds, and then there was a catapult, though, where you could put it on there, and that's how you'd throw, and that's how you'd lob over into the castle walls, whatever. But once somebody was down, they were out. And if you had like each of us had our leader that you try to put in the most secure spot. Like there's a spot in the castle that even if it got direct hit, like he typically could stand, but it would be tough to get him out. And then for the hordes, there was a tent that if you put the guy literally right behind the tent, it was very hard to knock him out. But that would be, and we'd have these like massive battles. I mean, I'm talking hundreds
Pedro
of figures.
down in the mix?
Oh, it was
with
me against my dad. Yeah,
you against
Pedro. I was
the
only child. It was me and Pedro.
I gotta say, that's a pretty good job out of Pedro.
Great job
in the mix.
Super cool. It was
a good
so
job.
fun.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good job out of him. Yeah, there was.
Like it would be funny.
Pops Bishop was not playing G.I. Joes.
It would be funny in my mind to like see an actual. I wish, and maybe there is. I'll have to ask my dad next time I talk to him. I would love to see a picture of like the setup, because in my mind as a kid, like it felt like there was like 1,000 guys on each side, and like the castle was huge.
Well, where are the figurines now?
It's a great question. Great question. But we would get them like when we went to
text him right now.
When we went to
Dad, what did you do with the night figurines?
Yeah, right. And I'll ask how many figures per battle in his mind.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Okay. That's the information that people need to know.
Yeah.
The latest edition of a podcast that's available is now presented by Cross Country Mortgage. This week, the Ibs boys sit down with Dane Brugler to talk draft week 1 from the big event. Check out the best podcast available wherever you get your podcast by watching it at youtube.com/Browns or hitting up clevelandbrowns.com. What are some of the highlights, Gibby, that people can look forward to?
The bottom line is this. He's calling in Clooney already. I got an email today.
You're in the mix?
He wants me for next week. He made the call.
It's an annual tradition. We do a little round table
unlike any other
draft. He makes it sound bigger than what it is. I greatly appreciate his help. I asked him.
What are the highlights of this one?
You don't have to. You don't want. You don't.
Gibby, I love you. Gibby, I love you.
Well, both the Ibs boys are your bosses, so I think you probably do have to. What are the highlights of this one I just teased? What do you guys? What's Dane give you? I mean, Dane's an encyclopedia.
Correct. And Nathan's interview with him earlier in the week, they got into more player specific.
Okay.
We take a little bit higher, position wise. Who are the positions of note? We so much talk about edge and defensive tackle and wide receiver, but who else is out there that, from a position standpoint, that the Browns should be targeting?
I like it.
Especially as we get into day 3.
Rumpke Waste Recycling, family-owned and operated. Whether you join them as a customer's employee, you'll become part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. On the other side of this quick timeout, we'll get an exact count on the amount of nights that were involved.
And the other thing, people don't realize that. Kids today don't realize how good you have it. Like, to find a picture.
I disagree. I think that we had it better.
Hold on. But in general, yes, there's way too much going on now. But for this thing, like, if this was today, there'd be a picture on my phone, my dad's phones, of our wars, all that at the ready. Now it's requiring to find like a Polaroid. Or a printed picture from the time.
Somebody have got the camera out, taking it and going, oh, this is special, let's take it. Usually the only images of my toys as a kid that we have center around Christmas or birthday.
Sure, same.
Like a photo of me being proud of the, of the aircraft carrier or whatever. Like that was
still angry.
USS Flag.
One miss. And it haunts me.
Well, it makes you feel better. I think it was thrown in the dump about 30 years ago.
Yeah, I wonder where
my what the value of that is?
I'm sure it's worth a lot because everybody did what my parents did and threw it away.
That's right.
I still my dad still had some of the figurines, but the actual, I think I've got like 2 ships left, maybe like a Sky Striker and a hovercraft, a chopper maybe. That's about it, but they're all damaged because we played with them.
Who did you side with more, G.I. Joe or Cobra?
So this is very against convention, but
I feel like you said G.I. Joe, which shocks me.
No, what I would do is my brother and I would pick. Not to get too deep in the weeds, I'll do this as quickly as possible for those of you. I would choose. I like the ninjas, so I would take Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes, Jinx, those Quick Kick, those guys. Those were my guys, and then I would give him all the heavy machine gun guys. Gung Ho, Roadblock, all those guys. So then we would have 2 separate factions against Cobra.
Oh, to unite, but then
also when it was a 3-way war, and then I would go at him. And you remember when we were kids, there was a series in the 80s of like ninjas were a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, they were like these movies.
Shinobi was a huge game.
Shinobi was a huge game. There's like Ninja 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, in one of them, I just remember this as a kid. There was something called a Sleeping Phoenix, where the ninja would people would go to open fire on him. They'd go to Sleeping Phoenix, and the bullets would hurt. So I would just tell my brother, Sleeping Phoenix.
Sorry.
He'd fire roadblock M60s. Sorry, Sleeping Phoenix. No pain. You can't see it. You can't see. I can sneak up on you anytime I want. I'm a ninja. He didn't win much.
I'd imagine you were very formidable.
Yeah, there was a lot of lies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Ninja Star already hit you. You're down.
Too bad. Sorry. Didn't see it coming.
Yep.
Well, why? Because he's a ninja.
Because he's a ninja.
Sorry.
It's
too bad. Hate
part
to
of
see
our
it.
deal.
Little higher or lower coming up next. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. The Bath Authority could give you that bathroom of your dreams. Acrylic tubs that insulate and keep the heat in. How nice would that be? You could take your current bathroom and with a little help from the Bath Authority, turn it into a spa-like experience. They can make it reality for you in about a day, and they do it about a fraction of the cost of the competitors. The Bath Authority is our area's premier bath and shower remodeler. They are experts, they are factory trained, and they're ready to go. And if you give them a call right now at 216-220-8399, you're going to get $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. You can go to bathauthority.com for more information on that. Simply put, superior products, expert installers. It's where affordability meets quality. It is the Bath Authority at 216-220-8399 or go to thebathauthority.com. We have an update on the figurines.
Yeah. My dad has responded. He said, typically 500 to 1,000 on each side, depending on whether or not we mix the centuries. And again, they weren't all those green-based ones that you looked up, which were the 1971 Britain.
The things are unbelievable.
And they have every war ever. They're amazing. The detail's incredible on them. But there are also a lot of plastic guys mixed in together as well. And then he said that we had the rule, which was the Ivory Natural Disaster Rule, which was our dog. And so the dog, if she came through and, like, trampled your dudes, anybody tipped over is done. Once you get tipped over, you're out. You're done. Toast. So that was there. We had the motorized tanks, which was awesome. And then he said, did you tell the story of buying, like, the biggest addition to the arsenal happened at Toys R Us when we bought Knights, Orcs, and then the castle, which was huge. So it was this big kind of hard cardboard castle where you put the sides in, but it was big, and it had a huge tower in the front, and you had turrets on the side where you could stand people in. You could try to hide people, and then you had inside the courtyard where you'd set up a lot of people where you had to lob the ones over on the catapult. And he said, covered in a bloody shirt right after my finger got cut off, which is true. And, like, the people were giving my dad the business, like, did you just, like, wreck your kid up here and now you're trying to make it nice at Toys R Us, buying him, like, everything in the store? And the answer was no, he did not. It was a chair, a spring-loaded chair. But that's when we got a lot of it. He said that's an essential addition to the battle stories, which is true. But yeah, those were good times, man. That was good stuff.
Did he let you win, or was there a
No, he played it. It was all legit.
It was all legit. It was a legitimate battle.
Yeah, yeah. Because you had, if you weren't the knight side, you had probably double the dudes, but way less cover, right? You're like Helm's Deep. The Uruk-hai are just running up there where you've got Helm's Deep. You have fewer guys, but you've got Helm's Deep.
You got Helm's Deep. Yeah.
But a strategic shot. And he said General Montgomery. He had a figure of General Montgomery, who was always one of the commanders.
I just looked this stuff up. They're like $45. Like, you get a brand new right now, like $45 a person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. All right, time for a little higher lower. Hello, Gibby.
Howdy, boys.
How you doing, buddy?
It's Friday.
It is. It is. Sun's out. Could actually
out.
dry
Nice
out.
weekend.
Are we at a point where are we gonna have like a 48-hour stretch of no precip?
It's supposed to rain tonight.
Stop it. Don't tease me.
Oh my gosh. It really is.
Yeah, a little rain maybe later. But the Saturday and Sunday look nice. I really needed tonight to kind of dry out, give me a chance to use the zero turn.
Yeah, maybe Sunday, Gibby.
Maybe. I need a little wind. Got to dry that out.
Pure Suck Wednesday, 42. That's going to be great.
Great. Golf league. Perfect.
That's your high, by the way, a high of 42. You have that to look forward to.
You know what? Nice. I can even take the bad weather during the week if the weekends are going to be like this one.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Hopefully it happens. I'm fine with that, too. I can deal with it. 79 and 80 next 2 days.
Driving. Pulling out the griddle. The Blackstone's coming out.
What are you cooking up there, Gibby?
Not sure yet, but that'll be popping out. I got to get that seasoned and ready to go. The grill's already been in use a couple times this spring.
Can I assume that because I think I told you guys this, the last time that we had a nice weekend, I was all out and about and the mosquitoes were out. Can I assume that the snow froze them?
Yes.
They're gone, right? When they have to rehatch?
They got to rehatch. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like maybe now you got to worry a little bit about the bees.
Bees I can take. I don't care about a bee. They're fine. Not worried about those guys. The mosquitoes they're the hindrance.
Yeah. Interesting because on my trip to Florida, the mosquitoes were out. But they're not out in like December, January, and February. Not around. They start reappearing in March and then in April.
They're back in the mix, and they hadn't sprayed for them yet. I bet.
Yeah, well, the rainy season.
They love my dad.
Begins now.
Sweet, he's sweet. He's got a sweet blood. Pedro does.
Browns and 7 says, thanks for the G.I. Joe reminiscing. The hovercraft was my pride and joy for a time.
My brother had the hovercraft. We had to share the USS Flag. He had the hovercraft. I had the Sky Striker. And again, like he'd just be down there in the water.
And you're just up here. It only
Ninjas
the only
and
time
aerial
that
attack.
Ninjas in an F-14 Tomcat puts you in a hell of an advantage.
By the way, the only time that failed was when you were on a dragon and a boat below bouncing around in waves was able to fell you just randomly in Game of Thrones. That's the only time it didn't quite work out the way that you would have thought, where you had air superiority over a fairly immobile ship, given the technology at the time.
Not only did you have air superiority, you had the only 3 F-14s in the world.
That's right.
You had all 3.
All of them.
Nobody else had them.
Nobody.
Everybody else was on the ground.
And they basically shot you with like a bow and arrow off of a boat.
Right. On a harpoon.
That hit the one
Somehow
exact spot
that's it.
in your underbelly.
And yet you could shoot flame a quarter mile.
And remind me what the boat was made out of? Wood? That's right. Oh, yeah. Sure.
Honest to God, when they were storyboarding that, they had to be like, or they just, was that just nobody spoke truth to power at the end? Like nobody said, wait, guys.
No, I just
Hold
think
on.
they were like, let's just get it.
But they weren't like, does this even make sense? The fact that somebody didn't say, whoa, guys, why does she have to prove anything to anybody?
Correct. Yes.
Just annihilate.
Or even if you want to do that so that they got the ice dragon, like that's how one of the dragons went down to kind of level the playing field. Like
Fine.
that at least makes sense. And then maybe you lose one of the dragons in the
Fine.
battle at Winterfell, and then you
Okay,
have
fine.
one left.
One left.
Fine.
Fine.
Not a ship.
Come around a corner in a ship with perfect aim.
It's weird. I could see it over the mountain that I'm flying 20,000 feet above. It's weird. It's weird how that ship just snuck up on me from the air.
The Song of Fire and Ice. As it turns out, not.
Not.
Bron, you get to run things. I'm going to go north of the wall. Ride around, go on adventures. That's what I'm... There's nobody even left up there. Who's he going to hang out with? Jon Snow. Nobody. Just riding around.
Nobody even likes him. It's boring.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I have to kill you. You turned bad in 2 episodes. After 6 seasons of being great, now you've turned bad.
And I love
to
you,
eliminate
and
I love you, but...
You may be carrying our child. I don't know.
Could be.
Not anymore.
You've done too much bad.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Come on.
Great advice, Tyrion. A lot of great advice.
Worst TV ending.
I mean,
it is.
It's a stunning
up there.
failure.
And I don't even blame them. I do because common sense should have prevailed. But George R. R. Martin finished the books. Like
Finish
you had,
the books.
You knew you had it.
Safe.
You're
yeah.
safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they rushed it because they wanted to go.
And I think they were addicted to trying to surprise instead of being.
Just give us
loyal.
what you want. We want it.
Yeah, just
you
give
knew
the
what we
people
wanted.
Everybody wanted it.
I'd even have been fine if it ended with the White Walkers wiping everybody out.
Perfect. Fine. I would have been fine with that too.
Bleak.
Yeah.
But believable.
But believable. Not that.
Mm-mm.
Not that.
All right. Higher or lower?
So it was
presented
worse.
by the Ohio
In other
Lotteries.
words.
Yes.
Worse. Little different version of higher or lower today. Your task today, come up with the top 10. If you want to just do top 5, I understand, based on time restraints. Browns' second-round picks since the team returned in '99. If you pull out your draft
I see it.
paperwork,
Okay.
page 2. Browns' second-round selections since 1970. Since
Nick
the
Chubb,
team
1.
returned. Quite an impressive list.
This is easy. How many do we need?
I originally said 10, but I know Bishop balks when I do 10.
And this is of all
Henry
time?
seems so,
no, since 99, since
99.
the team returned.
But
I'd like to have
two.
Second round pick.
I'd really like to have Michael Dean Perry on there.
Since 99.
Okay,
Nathan.
got it.
So
what do I do with like the? I mean, that's tricky because like Mitchell Schwartz was a great pick.
All right, so you want 5?
you
Nick
want to
Chubb
go 10.
is 1. Batonio's 2.
You can go 10.
All right, we'll go Chubb 1, Batonio 2. I think Mitchell Schwartz is 3. DeQuell Jackson 4. It's hard with JOK and Delpit because if they become what we want them to be, I think they could be tremendous. I would say probably then
Kevin Johnson.
Kevin Johnson had a good years early. I'd probably say, is it in terms of just what they did as Browns or just in the league in general?
As Browns.
Oh, because Agba turned out to actually be a pretty darn good pick.
Yeah, T.J. Ward was a good pick.
T.J. Ward, I have him checked. Yeah, Pro Bowler here with the Browns. Put T.J. Ward next. We'll go T.J. Ward. How many is that, 5?
Yeah, you're well past. You blew past it.
Yeah. Then we got Owusu Koromoa, Delpit, Greedy, Agba, Kevin Johnson, Jabal Sheard. Yeah. Not bad.
It's an impressive list of second-round picks.
By the way, I didn't realize Grant Delpit was pick number 44.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. 88, Dermontti Dawson. Oh, no. I was going to say, I thought he was picked by the Steelers. This is all-time 44th picks overall.
Yeah, so, all right. So, the best.
That's interesting. So, Dawson's a Hoff, so that's the best one of those.
Dermontti Dawson. And it says Hoff right by his name. He's the only Hoff
ever picked 44th overall.
Yeah.
Some good ones, though. Charles Bentley, before the injury stuff, was pretty elite.
How about back-to-backs, 97, 98, Sam Madison, Patrick Surtain, both by the Dolphins? That's electric.
Pre-injury, Bob Sanders was a dude.
Bob Sanders, I had him checked.
That's a dude. Matt Forte, really good.
Matt Forte was very good. Chris Jenkins was a solid tackle for Carolina, as was K'Wan Short. Lately, hasn't been so great.
No.
Delpit, yep, we'll take him. I think Elgton Jenkins has been pretty good for Green Bay. Matt Forte.
Yeah.
Sidney Rice had a nice year.
Couple years there with Minnesota.
Jimmy Kleinsasser. Loved a Jimmy Kleinsasser.
Boy, Taylor Jacobs. Remember him from UF.
Oh, yeah. Didn't quite pan out.
I got a story for you off air on that one.
How about this? 1982, Oliver Luck, father of Andrew.
How about that?
How about 1984, Riverboat Ron?
There you go.
Yeah.
Guys from the 80s that were Browns second-round picks. Michael Dean Perry.
MDP. Webster Slaughter.
Webster.
Greg Riccozzi was pretty solid. Leroy
Greg
Ford.
Pruitt.
Greg Pruitt. Yeah. Not the hit rate you'd expect, really, to be honest.
It's hard, man. This drafting thing's hard.
It's very hard. So more bites at the apple, as I like to say.
Yeah. Michael Dean Perry, the
MDP.
The not, I don't know why, but not given, I think, quite the respect for how good he was for the time that he was here.
He made it onto our team, like, emphatic. He was a unanimous on our
The Ibs
all-time
boys
team.
didn't want him on there
No.
for whatever reason.
No, they were
we
over here,
him.
like, pounding the table for Demarius Randall. And we're, like, trying to keep some sense of order and decorum.
Just a little bit of historical perspective.
Foremost, I was here for Michael Dean Perry, so don't ever question that. I don't know where you two
was he like 4 All-Pro? Like 3 All-Pro? He was All-Pro a couple times.
We went to look up his numbers, and we
was a lot better.
He was good, but he was ridiculously good.
He really was. He had a stretch where he was elite.
MDP, 6-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, was a 1989 Defensive Player of the Year.
Jeez.
As an interior defensive lineman in 1990 when he was first team All-Pro, 11.5 sacks. He had a stretch where he had 7, 11.5, 8.5, 8.5 for the Browns. Yeah, MDP had a burger named after him at McDonald's.
Is he like a Ring of Honor guy?
He should be.
Should he be? Based on that, what you just said, Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time All-Pro?
Yeah,
6
I like
Pro
that.
Bowls?
I like that. He was the Defensive Player of the Year.
How does that compare to Clay? And I'm not trying to say. I think maybe they both are. I'm just thinking from an accomplishment standpoint, and acknowledging that I certainly was not here when this was all going on.
Clay, 4-time Pro Bowler, no-time All-Pro. MDP is.
I'm saying, like, I feel like he's not given the attention that's due. The credit that's due for his greatness, because he was quite great. If I do say so myself. A lot of bad advice out there about gambling, from secret methods to picking lottery numbers to betting big when you're on a roll. The miss can lose you money and get you in a lot of trouble as well. So before you wager, find out what's real and what isn't at keepitfunohio.com. So much more to come.
Just got an exciting text. The Miz's dad will be at AIW Eyes of the Beast tonight at the Odeon.
He just wants to be on the mic with you.
He's not. I don't know if he's going to be front row.
Yeah, but he wants to be up with you.
He's a celeb. Mrs. Dad's a
What's he going
celeb.
to invite himself to?
Red
Mr.
carpet,
Miz.
but he wants to be on with you for sure. He wants to be on the mic.
On.
Of course.
I'd have him on. He's tremendous.
Do you have that authority?
He's a talent. I don't know.
So much more to come. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Car, truck, or motorcycle accident caused you injury. Call the injury lawyers at 1-800-ELK, Ohio for a free case review. Elk & Elk's a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Gorgeous weekend, and you're busy tonight. You got your you got the big event?
Yeah, I got the big event. Come on down to the Odeon, AIW. Eyes of the Beast, Minoru Suzuki, Isaiah Broner.
Where can I hear you doing this? Your work?
IndependentWrestling.tv. Sign up. It's a great deal. Get every show. You can stream it live. We will be broadcasting live on pay-per-view tonight. Let's go. Giddy up. I'm fired up. I'm very excited. Then a little golf tomorrow, a little Art and Drea birthday party.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
There we go. It's going to be a gorgeous weekend for everybody. Hopefully it all dries out. Then we have the draft next week.
Then we're rolling, dude. We're rolling. Then we get the draft. Then give me a little, give me some OTAs. Give me some mandatory mini camp. Then we a little break. Then we're training camp. We're almost there.
Let's not sprint through summer. Let's
soak it in.
We have so little.
Let's soak it in. Let's soak it in.
So little of it.
You're right.
So little. Have a great weekend, everybody. The next level is next. Thanks for listening. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.